Hello, and thank you for watching this video on how to add an indexer server to a server group. The first question to answer is, why would you want to add an indexer? Well, there's two primary reasons, the first of which is high availability. When you add an indexer to a server group, it will provide FTS and MFS searches when the primary indexer is down or is busy reindexing. If you only have one indexer, then when that server is down or if it's busy reindexing, then you simply cannot perform FTS or MFS global searches. Also, by adding a second indexer, multiple copies of the FTS collection directory will get created. So if there was any problem with your primary FTS collection directory, say the directory got corrupted, you'll have a second copy of that directory, and that can be a fail-safe. The next reason is to provide multiple searchers. FTS and MFS queries can be distributed across multiple servers, and we'll show you how to do that. If you only have one indexer, then there's only one searcher. And all of the searches for all the servers in the server group will be searching against that one server. So by adding an indexer, you are also adding searchers, and that will come in handy when you have a lot of load of searching. Here's an example of a default environment with one FTS indexer. You'll notice there are 6 servers in the server group. 3 of them are user-facing and 3 of them are backend, but only one of the backend servers is an indexer, and therefore every FTS and MFS search from every server in the server group is going to be pointing to that one FTS searcher plugin that's on the indexer server. However, if we add one indexer to the server group, then what we can do is point some of the servers to the FTS plugin on the first indexer and some of the servers to the FTS plugin on the second indexer server. And so this will distribute the load for us, and it'll give us better performance when performing searches. You can take this idea one step further by putting a load balancer between your FTS searchers and your FTS searcher plugins. This could provide more value and better searching performance by making use of the FTS searcher plugin that you're going to get when you add another FTS indexer. Let's take a look at another example. In this environment, I have 4 servers. 3 of them are just searcher servers and 1 is an indexer server. I want to add an indexer, so I'm going to have 2 of my servers will be searchers and 2 of them will be indexers. So let's look at how you would configure this. The first step is to open up the FTS Management Console and configure the new indexer, and then I'll configure the other searchers to use the new indexer. Once we've done that, we'll open the AR System Server Group Operation Ranking Form and we'll rank the new indexer. Let me show you this. Let's start by logging into the AR system through the mid-tier as an administrative user. And then from the flyout panel, we'll choose the Remedy Management Console and the AR System Server Group Console. From here, we'll pick the FTS Management Console, and this is where we're going to do most of our work. So at first glance, you see I have all 4 of my servers listed here, and under the is indexer column, I can see that only server RemedyProd 4 is an indexer. And as my first step, I simply want to make RemedyProd 3 also an indexer. So I'll click on RemedyProd 3. The information for that server will be shown below. It's not an indexer. I can choose is as an indexer, yes. Click apply. And that part is done. Now, making a server an indexer does mean I'm going to have to restart that server, but I'm not going to do it quite yet. We'll save that for a subsequent step. Now that my indexers are set up, I want to make best use of the searching capabilities on the indexers by distributing my user-facing servers, RemedyProd 1 and RemedyProd 2, across both of the indexers. So RemedyProd 1, as we can see, is already set up to connect to RemedyProd 3, the indexer. So all I need to do is go to RemedyProd 2 and set it to connect to the second indexer, which is RemedyProd 4. Simply make that change and apply it. And now we're done setting up the indexers and the searchers. The next thing I want to do is check the ranking. So from this console, I can just go directly over to the ranking form. I'm going to sort by the operations and look for FTS. And here I see full text index and only RemedyProd 4 is ranked, and it's ranked as number 1. Now, according to the chart I showed you a minute ago, what I ultimately want to do is make RemedyProd 3 ranked number 1 and RemedyProd 4 ranked number 2. So I'll simply change the rankings right now. I'll change that rank to 2, and we'll go up to RemedyProd 3 and change that rank to 1. I'll save each time. And now I can click on the refresh ranking button to force all the servers in the group to be aware of that change. Now let's go back and look at our steps. We performed the first 2 steps from the management console and the ranking form by configuring the indexers and the searchers. The next step is to restart some of the AR servers. We'll need to restart the searchers that were updated. In this case, we only updated RemedyProd 2 as a searcher because the server plugin alias parameter has to get reread to point to the new indexer server. We also need to restart the new indexer server that we created, and that was RemedyProd 3, and that's so that it can start up the new FTS plugin server that it needs. Once we've done all that, we're about ready to start the final steps. The final steps are to re-index the new indexer. It needs to create the new collection directory so that it's up to speed and has all the searchable data. And the last thing is to tune. And we have some best practices that you can follow to tune your FTS server. Before we end, let me point out some resources that you have available to you to help configure and tune your FTS environment. First, we have the best practice configuration doc that'll help you understand what are the best practices and how to configure. The next one is a white paper that goes into a lot of depth and detail about how to specifically configure your environment. And lastly, we have configuring multiple FTS indexers for load balancing. And this will go into great detail about how you can set up your multiple indexer servers so that you can search across those and get better performance. Thank you for watching.